So I just finished the 7th episode of Star Wars The Acolyte. The episode is called Choice. Now, if you haven't seen my spoiler-free review yet, please go consider checking out because I will be talking about spoilers in this review. So, Choice is basically Soul's perspective on the events of Destiny. And by the way, Choice and Destiny are dichotomies, if you will. Like day-night, revenge, justice, all that we've been getting throughout these episodes, the titles. And Destiny is set for you. It's what's going to happen, what you're going to do, your choices impact what's going to occur, what's going to happen. And there is a dichotomy though, but at the same time, if you remember in Destiny, there was talk about how you could choose your own destiny. At the same time, their choices led to what happened, what we already know has happened. So in a way, their choices were set because their destiny was set because we already know. That's kind of like the nature of whenever you have flashbacks, because certain things are already set in stone because of the present of the story. Now, I might get a bit too meta about that, but this episode, like I said, is from Soul's perspective and the choices he made that impacted the events that we saw in Destiny. And it's not just his choices, it's also May's choices, it's also the witch's choices, it's also Tobin's choices, and Indara's choices. Really, the only one who doesn't make any choice that is new, basically, for that better term, is Osha, because her choice to join the Jedi was already made back in Destiny. She made that choice. And that was set off because she saw the Jedi. And then what happened was set off because May and her other mothers, not Mother Stage, the other one, made choices to prevent the Jedi from taking Osha. All those choices came together as a series of unfortunate events that caused the events that we saw. The witches to all be killed, for the fire to spread, everything, all those choices came together and created what we saw. But what did we actually see? Well, first let's establish the Jedi on Brendock because they thought Brendock was lifeless, no life at all, yet there's life. The series, some kind of vergence of the Force. And then there's a late point in the episode where that vergence is what makes Tobin to make another choice that leads to all the craziness, for that better term. Tobin this entire time has been wanting to get back to Coruscant. He's basically bored cataloging plant samples. Yeah, that is somewhat understandable there. And when they first confront the witches, we already saw them get in his head, but this time we got to see what he was experiencing. Basically, he was having a force trip, and the witches in his head basically are using him to get the Jedi to leave by saying, what do you want? You want to get back to Coruscant, you want to leave this place. Just kneel and all that, and it will be done. Basically trying to scare the Jedi into going back to Coruscant. But that doesn't work because a Soul's choice to basically want to train Osha, to bring Osha to the Jedi, because he formed that connection with Osha, not with May. He latched on to Osha pretty quickly, probably because he sensed that Osha was feeling different about being among the Coven than May was. May was fine, happy with being it. But at the same time, May was happy the way things were. She didn't want any changes. And so her mother, not Mother Stacia, but was willing to stoke that anger because she also didn't want Osha to leave because of her own fear of the Jedi. Fear is really what caused a lot of the bad choices to be made. Fear of missing out, fear of the Jedi, fear of losing your family, all that stuff really impacted everyone's choices, and in many cases they made the wrong choice. Really, probably only one character never made a wrong choice in this episode, and that was probably Mother Anastasia. She considered Osha's opinion, desires from the get-go. She was willing to let Osha go with the Jedi, but in that second confrontation with the witches, Tobin and the twins' other mother nearly come to blows, and so what does she do? Well, she uses her magic, and we don't know what she's going to do, and neither does Soul, but there's something to note about the scene. We get a head-on shot of her, so we see her mist magic, for that better term, go to both Tobin and the twins' other mother. Soul is getting a side view, a profile view. He only sees the mist coming toward Tobin, and he makes, in the field basically, makes the wrong choice in that moment and kills her. And then she reveals to him that she was going to let Osha go. That's assuming the other witches were going to cooperate, of course, because I don't think they will. But that's something to note. She's the only one who never acted out of fear. Everything she clearly was acting out of was love for her children and wanting her children to have what they wanted. No, she was basically putting her children's needs above her own needs and be above the needs of her coven. And that was clearly causing some discontent among the coven as well. That is something I really want to stress. Really, the actions that led to the series of unfortunate events, the decisions, the choices were made out of fear, and that caused the issues. And then the witches, in their fear, they're now angry because they lost Mother Anastasia, and their fear for the Jedi, so they possess Tanaka, and the Jedi obviously are fighting back now. And then when Dio shows up, she uses the Force to basically break the possession of Tanaka, and that's what kills all the witches. Well, almost all, because I still don't know what happened to the twins' other mother. Did she escape? I know she was not among the bodies. And the thing is, I don't think the Jedi knew that happened until Sol and Osha stumbled across the witches' bodies. And you know what caused it? The dark side. Fear. Everyone, at some point, except for Mother Anastasia, reacted out of fear rather than out of love. Even so, he reacted out of fear multiple times. Though at the same time, he also did react out of compassion as well. But the choices he feels guilt, feels remorseful, are the ones that he reacted out of fear. Killing Mother Anastasia, not being able to save both May and Osha. You know he feels guilty of that. You can tell he's struggling, and he makes the choice to save only Osha in that scene. Now, I think he was fearful that he couldn't save both, and therefore he only saved the one he formed a connection through the Force with. And I think that's interesting. And then probably the worst choice of all. Yes, lots of bad choices, but the Jedi discussing what happened and what they're going to tell the Council. And so, you can clearly tell, he feels guilty, he feels remorseful, he believes he made the wrong choices, and that he needs to face the consequences for his choices. But Indara is like, the Jedi going to know the truth. May started a fire that killed their entire family, and Osha's the only survivor. Which is true from a certain point of view, but even still, that's more of a certain point of view than even what Obi-Wan did. Because at least with Vader, yeah, Vader did kind of kill Anakin, at least killed who Obi-Wan thought Anakin was and all that. He had a little more of an excuse with that than what Indara did with it, from a certain point of view. And that's the thing that's, I think, been impacting Sol this entire time. He feels guilt. We saw a lot of guilt in the past episode. And I think now that he's told May, he can start recovering. Because you can tell from the get-go, he wanted to make amends. And perhaps, when this is all over, the reason why the Jedi decide, nope, no Sith involved, is because Sol admits what happened on Brenda all these years ago, and the Jedi just assumed he fell to the dark side and has been hiding it this entire time. We don't know, but it's very interesting that basically everything that occurred was a series of mistakes. I was frustrated with everyone who was thinking the Jedi were maliciously doing the wrong thing. No, they're actually really secretly the bad guys. No, they just made mistakes. Really, the only mistake that is, I would say, truly wrong, is Indara's choice to tell the truth from a certain point of view. Some lies of omission. She's the only one who makes a decision, gets all the other Jedi to go with her, by the way, makes a decision to lie about what really happened. And perhaps if she just told the truth, things would have gone a lot better. And I think that was part of what May was trying to get Tobin to do back in episode 2 as well. So yeah, this really was an interesting episode. We got to see again all this stuff from Sol's perspective. Now, I've recorded this a couple of times because I kept on not losing my train of thought, but kept on feeling I wasn't saying what I wanted to say correctly. So if I didn't say this before, I meant to. But I really want to make sure I say it. So this. There's certain events going on in this episode that Soul could not have known what was going on. But he was telling this to May. It's very possible that May is then telling Soul stuff as well. Saying like, oh yeah, when you guys were climbing up, I did this. Oh, and that could be piecing some stuff together in Soul's mind of what actually happened. There's a theory that Osha and May are finally going to be switching positions, and I think this is part of it. May filling Soul in on some stuff that Soul had only made assumptions of prior is something that we need to consider. It's also very likely that May appreciates Soul basically telling her what happened as he experienced it, and basically telling her that he made a mistake by not telling the truth and by letting the truth not be told. He's been wanting to tell Osha that too. Will he ever get a chance? We don't know. But I have a feeling Cameo would be telling Osha that before Soul gets to do so, which is going to make things very tragic in the next episode. Because it will. And that's my prediction of the next episode. Tragedy across the board. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed my review. I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode on Choice in the comment section down below. I'm sure there's stuff I forgot to mention, so let's get that discussion going. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. You can also stay up to date on my content by following me on social media. I have a link tree down in the description which has all my social media links on it. Additionally, if you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member and get early access to all my videos. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.